much for letting me come today. I really was excited about it. DuBose is accepting one of the 100 most influential people in Georgia award today at Georgia Trend and had to be there. But as general manager of the Courier Herald Publishing Company, I run 9 newspapers, so nobody is more upset about what's happening to small business in this state than I am. So I was happy to get to come here and share it with you today. I want to tell you a little bit about DuBose. He's been in the House for 27 years. I know people are a little upset with incumbents this year, but DuBose stayed in because when he was chairman of education and then higher education, he came to me and he said, Carol, you know what, until you're in the governor's office, you cannot take education where it needs to be in this state. And he said, when our children graduate, if the time is right, I'm going to offer myself up to run for governor. And that's what he has done. Our children are now in college, and he is free where he feels like he has met his first priority, which was to get the children through school and out, and now he is ready to work full-time for Georgia. We have a minister at the head of our campaign because DuBose's faith and my faith is very important to us. I teach Sunday school. DuBose is on the administrative board. We are the best for small business in this state. We have a business that touches every single small business in our community because we're in the newspaper industry. Nobody understands clearer than DuBose Porter and I do exactly what is happening to small business in this state. And what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to give a quote from somebody that's really going to shock you because I'm going to quote Glenn Beck. And I'm going to tell you that Glenn Beck says, take the R and the D off and look at the man. Because when you do that and you look at DuBose Porter, you're going to see that he is by far the best for small business in this state. Now, we need to look at what's been going on. Okay, the halts. Hopefully tomorrow we will end the halts. But DuBose has been fighting the halts for 6 years in this state. With the halts, our speaker and his enforcers could go into any committee at any time and change the vote. For 6 years, you have not had representative government in Georgia. It was one of the largest threats to democracy in the entire United States, and it was right here in Georgia. That's why you need to take the R and the D off and actually look at the votes. Look at how people have voted. Who gave you the largest property tax increase in Georgia history in the 2009 session? It wasn't DuBose Porter. DuBose Porter went to the well and spoke against it. He said, we cannot repeal the homeowners tax relief grant. In this economy, there is no way we can raise property taxes on our people when they are barely able to stay in their homes and small businesses are closing their doors every day. Go to our website, porterforgeorgia.com. We put the vote up so you can see for yourself who voted to raise your property taxes. It wasn't DuBose Porter. DuBose is a worker. He's a hard worker and he's serious and he's really big on the policy. And when you go and you look at his votes, you will realize he is for you. Look at some of the things. I see from my hometown, Neva and Jiva Alexander, they own a small office supply company. Who is the one who made it so we can only buy from big boxes, big box stores? Who's hurting small business here? Who put the hunting licenses at a big bank out of state instead of in our small businesses? I need you to step back and look at the person, look at the votes. DuBose has been there with you on House Bill 191. He knows we need tax incentives. He knows who creates the jobs, but tax incentives is just one part of the picture. We, for over a decade, have had governors running this state based on campaign donors. It's time to put the people's voice back in our government. It's your government. Get engaged and find out what's going on. And you will realize that DuBose Porter is by far the best for small business. He wants to put people to work. Right now in Lawrence County, we have a 10% unemployment rate. We have 24% on public assistance. We are #1 in the state, in the entire United States, in the percentage of our population in the prison system. Now, take all those people who are taking taxes. Had we given them a decent education, which we can do without much more money, and had put them into jobs like DuBose has wanted to, he saw that 80% of the jobs are going to be for technical degrees. He's been trying to pass joint post-secondary options since Zell Miller was governor. And it got vetoed then, it got vetoed by another governor. DuBose finally got it through, and another governor stopped it. It's time to give people the skills they need in school and let them get a joint degree in technical schools so when they graduate, they can get a job and they can earn money and they can spend that money in businesses. We are too supply heavy. We've got to get demand back up. To get demand up, you've got to put people to work and give them jobs and let them spend the money to buy the goods and services that you are selling. Thank you very much. That last thing was really good. You're right on that. DuBose is a businessman. He knows about the tax incentives and how that works, and that's a good thing. And House Bill 191 was good, and he's with you on that. He runs a small business. He knows about business. But we've got to ask ourselves, I'm on the chamber board in my hometown, and I hear all the time, oh, Georgia's so pro-business. Is Georgia really pro-business? Because there's more to it than tax incentives. That's just one small part of the big picture. When we are sending the signals to industry, we don't have water. We don't have a transportation plan. We're number one in prison populations, but we're at the bottom of education. Is that going to attract industry to this state? Is that pro-business? We have got to have a governor, just one time get a governor, who will do what's best for Georgia, who will not spend the whole time reorganizing departments so that contributors can get the paving contracts, so that big donors get their roads paved first. Look at the 9,000 roads and see who's at the top. Follow the money. Follow the money. Our water plan right now, have you looked at the map? Have you looked at the water map? We have the ends of 5 rivers in one district. All the other districts are flowing into it. Are they going to get together on a water plan, or is that going to conflict and have to go back to the big power at the top to decide? We can solve our water problems if we're not concerned about the donors. We can solve our transportation problems if we're not concerned about the donors. We haven't had a transportation plan passed in 2 years while our major city sits in gridlock. Even in Lawrence County, I can't get industry to come down there when they're riding down there on roads like this that are bumpy. And they know that if they have to have their goods go through Atlanta, they're going to be stuck for 4 hours paying for labor and fuel. That is not pro-business. There are solutions to these problems. And look at education. We're at the bottom. It costs $8,000 to educate a child and up to $50,000 to lock one up. Who's paying for that? There's a lot of money to be made in prisons. A lot of big developers building prisons. A lot of people want to privatize prisons because there's a lot of money to be made there. Prisons does not really need to be our growth industry in Georgia. We need to educate people so that they can get a job. We don't want those people in prison taking our taxes. We want them out working. So what I'm saying is there are ways to finance things without raising taxes. DuBose's point of sale bill, which we have a large portion of businesses not turning back in their sales tax. Right now in Georgia, you go in a store, you pay your sales tax. There are 2 things that can happen. 1, the business owner can send it back to the state, or 2, they get to keep it. Now, do you see a problem with that? It can be up to $1 billion extra dollars. We've just now gotten the revenue department to admit it. Alabama already did it and found $1 billion. Our economy's bigger. Do the math. There are ways to get revenue if we work at it. DuBose is a worker and he'll work for you. Thanks.